Mary, are you coming?
Mary,
Okay.
you're coming. Let's go. Bye, Mary.
Bye.
See you in a minute. Mary, you're staying in the car?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you please take me to McDonald's?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 4, Episode 4. And before we get into it, let me just say, Salt Lake City is in their bag. Everybody has clocked in for work. I am loving this season so far.
I love it. I love it.
And Miss Monica, you know I was riding hard for you, sis. I love the way you have several storylines to give us. But did I not warn you in last week's recap? I said, now, Miss Girl, don't make me have to put you in my Gina from OC files. And I think that you've done it, Monica. I think that I have to officially put you there because you tried it yet again. You can't come on a platform with a whole bunch of rich women and then you want to cry and talk about your problems and your financial issues because you're not on the same level as these women. That's not how this works. Baby, this is Housewives. But y'all, let me not jump ahead. Let's just jump right on into it because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. So we open up the episode with it being the second day of the ladies in Palm Springs, and we see Meredith send out a group text. She tells everybody to meet her by the pool and to have their t-shirts on. Now we jump to Angie K. She's over at the front desk asking the motel manager, David, if he has a marker because since she was not invited on this trip, she crashed this vacation. There's no shirt for her. So she's going to make her own shirt on a plain white tee. And baby, can we talk about that quick shade that the manager gave? He was like, oh, how sad. You have to make your own shirt. I was just like, Angie, why don't you quit while you're ahead? The fact that you just got read by the motel manager about how you have to make your own shirt, have some pride. I feel like we've lost discretion, we've lost pride, nobody has self-esteem anymore because I will be damned if I'm here crashing a vacation that I was not invited on, and then on top of that, I want to be a part of all the activities and I have to force my way in and I'm making my own shirt. Again, Angie, it's never that deep. You weren't invited, so I don't even know why you want to be on this trip so bad. Also, you trying to throw that shade talking about, well, Meredith wants to be petty, so it was either make my own shirt or put a hit out on her family. I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? You sound crazy. So now we see Lisa and Whitney talking about last night. Lisa's like, how are you feeling? Last night got so crazy. Oh my gosh. Angie K really came in hot. I always wonder if Lisa gets winded talking like that because I get winded every time I imitate her, but I digress. So Whitney agrees that last night's dinner got crazy, and while it was chaotic, that is single-handedly one of the best Housewives episodes of all time. I'm going to keep saying it. Salt Lake City, y'all did that. So Whitney goes on to say that I just hate the way Meredith manipulates the situation. So she's like, it's not really fair how Meredith can say whatever she wants, but the minute somebody else defends themselves, now she wants to weaponize what she's going through, and I don't like that. She does it all the time. Now, I will be fair. While I do like Meredith a lot, we can be honest and say that Meredith does do that. So Whitney goes on to add that she wasn't feeling how Meredith brought up her friend's 3-year-old grandson. She's like, what's that about? So Lisa's like, look, I understand. Me and Meredith are trying to move on. We're trying to work on our friendship, but I can't sit up here and pretend like I don't notice that she weaponizes situations in her favor. My whole thing is I'm friends with Angie K as well, and I just don't want to be in the middle. I feel like Lisa always says that every time there's some fighting going on with Meredith, that's the first thing that she says. I don't want to be in the middle. I'm friends with both, because remember when Jen Shah and Meredith were going at it in season 2, and all Lisa could say was, I just want to stay out of it. I don't want to take sides. And I have a very unpopular opinion about trying to play Switzerland. I just kind of feel like you gotta pick a side. I know that might sound immature, but there are a few people where we're right here on that. I don't know. I feel like 9 times out of 10, the person who wants to be in the middle is usually instigating, making things worse. I'm not for that. I will gladly pick a side. If I'm loyal to somebody, if I'm your friend, you don't have to worry about me also being friends with your enemy. Like, I'm not going to do that. But that's another story, another topic, and another video for another day. So now Lisa brings up what Meredith was saying, how she has all this information on Angie's family, and she's like, can we not do that? Because it reminds me of last year when families got brought up. It just feels icky, like not again. So now we jump to Meredith and Monica talking, and Meredith is thanking Monica for being so kind to her. So Monica's like, of course, of course. Then she goes on to say that Meredith was bombarded at the dinner, and how even though Angie K is her friend and introduced her to the group, she feels like Angie K's behavior was tacky and unacceptable. Now, I couldn't stop laughing throughout this scene because it was clear that Monica was doing some major ass kissing. She was just like, look, let me get in with the head girl in the group. Let me get in good with the OG. So why not just grovel and kiss up to Meredith? And it was working because Meredith was loving it. And don't get me wrong, Angie K is definitely thirsty and desperate. She's a try-hard, and she's low-key embarrassing. But at the same time, Monica was definitely laying it on thick with the, thank you so much for inviting me because I'm your guest and I want to be your friend. I was like, baby girl, take it down a notch. Now, when they all meet by the pool with their shirts, Meredith lets them know that they're going to be doing a trust building exercise with a life coach named Cliff, and it's going to be held at a park. So now Angie K comes out with her homemade shirt, and she looked a mess. They were all looking at her like, girl, what? So all their shirts from Meredith read, no tricks, all trust, and Angie K's shirt said, all tricks, no trust. I was like, Angie, I feel so much secondhand embarrassment for you. The fact that you have this homemade shirt on, written in Sharpie, like, I would be so embarrassed. I would have sat this out. I would have said, you know what? You guys have fun with your team building. I'm going to be at a bar or do some shopping, but I damn sure would not be at the team building event with that stupid shirt on. And the way Meredith is the epitome of paying somebody dust. Because it's clear that Angie K wants to get a reaction out of Meredith, and Meredith refuses to give her that satisfaction. She was like, okay, so anyways, guys, let's get on the van and go to the park. Before I forget, before they got on the Sprinter van, when Heather was like, oh, Whitney, I want to apologize to you for vomiting on your leg. You took one for the team. I was like, Heather, you are too grown to be vomiting on somebody's leg. I'm so sorry, but why would you drink 5 espresso martinis if you knew that you couldn't handle it? And you need to be lucky that Whitney didn't curse you out for that, because that's disgusting. So they pull up to the park for their trust building exercise. And when I tell you, Mary had me screaming. She's like, you guys have fun. I'm going to stay right here on this bus. I don't want to do it. I don't want to participate. Me in the rain and in the park, it's a no for me.
No.
Did you guys catch that comment she made when she said, I'm no longer a soccer mom, so no? Now, Mary goes on to add that she already knows who to trust, and she already knows who not to trust in this group. Then she goes on to add that when it comes to these women, she doesn't need to bond with them because she already has her special bond with her higher help. Mary low-key hit us with that, I have a friend and his name is Jesus, okay? Like, I don't need none of y'all. I got my Lord and Savior. I said, I know that's right, Mary.
Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you.
Miss Mary said that she is too saved and sanctified to be playing around in the park with y'all because she doesn't like y'all anyway. Now, Mary, I respect how you feel, but my whole thing is, why come? Why be on this trip? Why get in the van if you're not going to participate? That's a waste of time. I could have been by the pool, chilling, getting some room service, maybe go to a restaurant, get something to eat, go shopping. Like, I wouldn't be on the bus like that. But one thing about Mary knows how to have a good time by herself. She was up there asking the producer to run into Starbucks and get her a hot oat milk latte. She was like, yeah, I need one immediately.
We could just get Mary a hot oat milk latte.
With the double shot. I have to have it.
Then you see her looking out the window and she was like, I don't understand why Meredith had to have us do an activity in the park. Why couldn't we do something more luxurious? While Mary's really fun, I do feel like Mary is cranky. I just feel like Mary's one of those people who's never quite happy or satisfied with anything, and that would get really old really fast. Now, when they were doing the trust building exercises, I don't think that anything got solved. They were having fun in the moment. Meredith and Whitney were paired together. Heather and Angie K were paired together. And Monica and Lisa were paired together. Yeah, they were all having fun, but we know how this goes. They get along for an hour, and then the rest of their time on the vacation or in group settings, everything goes left. So I didn't feel any warm and fuzzies watching them laugh for a few minutes at this team building exercise because we already know what's going to happen next. I was screaming when Angie K said that she had a great time with the trust building exercise, and then Meredith says, it's just so funny to me how the vacation crasher is having the most fun time, but I'm glad that you're getting the most out of your free trip. Now, the shade of it all, but technically you guys are all on a free trip because we know that Bravo pays for the vacations. So they get back on the Sprinter van to head back to the motel, and Meredith says, we had a great time today, but Mary, I wish that she would have participated because it was such a positive moment. Mary does not hold back. She does not hold her tongue. So I already knew this conversation was most likely going to turn into an argument because Mary's like, now hold on. Because did I not stop you and tell you why I did not feel comfortable doing the team building exercises? So now you have Lisa making the fatal mistake of interrupting and inserting herself in a conversation that she was not a part of. So Mary says, I wasn't talking to you. This is between me and Meredith. Stay out of it. So now Mary goes on to ask Meredith another question. And now you have Lisa jump in again. When Mary clocked her the second time, when I tell y'all I was on the floor, Mary was like, I'm not talking to you. Stop doing that.
And you're going to always get it again and again and again.
So then she's like, Lisa, do you have a mute button? You just don't shut up. So you have Lisa being sarcastic, and she's like, no, I'm always on play all the time. And I said, Lisa, Mary Cosby is not the one or the two, so you might want to sit there and just eat your food. So now Whitney jumps in, and I'm like, Whitney, you already know that Mary can't stand you. And that's putting it lightly. I don't know if Whitney has some sort of humiliation kink where she likes when Mary embarrasses her, but I just feel like, you know this woman doesn't like you. Why say anything to rile her up and to make things worse for yourself? I just feel like Whitney likes being the victim, so that's why she puts herself in these situations where Mary embarrasses her so that she can have something to whine and cry about. Because otherwise, any sane and rational person would just leave Mary alone. So Whitney's going on about how she's so confused at the fact that Mary came on the Sprinter van, and why would Mary even come on this trip if she had no desire to participate or even hang out with the girls? She's like, why be on this trip if you don't like any of us? And while that is a valid question, I just feel like, once again, Whitney, you already know this woman does not like you, so why make things worse? You already know that she wants to have this conversation with Meredith, so the fact that Lisa jumped in and now you want to jump in, it's just dumb. Why set yourself up for failure? So Mary's being super dismissive, and she's like, I wasn't there, get over it, move on, next. So Whitney keeps going, and she's like, but we missed you. And she's talking in that super annoying little girl voice. And when Mary started imitating Whitney, she was like, we missed you. Da, da, da. And she's like, girl, shut up. Let me add one more point about Mary, right? It's clear that Mary has an inflated ego, and she knows that she is needed for this franchise to survive. Because we can all agree that last season the ratings were down and nobody was watching. And I think that's why Mary has a really smug attitude. And it's like, I don't have to do that. I don't have to participate in that. I can get away with not doing that, because she knows that they need her. And I was watching Heather on Watch What Happens Live right after this episode went off. And you could tell that Heather's annoyed by Mary's diva antics, because she was like, Andy, it's just so funny to me how Mary gets away with everything. I wish I could get away with a fraction of what she gets away with. And all Andy did was laugh. But I said, Heather, you know what it is. Mary got some power and you guys just have to deal with it. So Meredith is over this conversation. She's like, guys, let's just table this conversation for right now and talk about this another time. So they get back to the motel for lunch, and the spread was very nice. That charcuterie board was everything. My mouth was watering. So as they're eating lunch, Heather's asking Meredith what's on the agenda for the rest of the day, and Meredith is like, I don't know, let's just see where today takes us. So now Whitney interrupts, and she's like, just so you guys know, I'm going to now take over the rest of the trip. Now, Whitney, you have me all the way messed up, because you already have so many strikes against you. The fact that you got here early, you invited Angie K, you took the biggest room, and now you want to take over the remainder of the trip? That's not your place. You would have been cursed out right then and there, because again, how dare you? The audacity for you to think that you're going to take over my trip. You're not the host. So Whitney's like, since we're here at the iconic Trixie Motel, Trixie's going to come back and join us, and we're going to have a drag makeup competition. So she's like, in 30 minutes, I need you guys to all take off your makeup, get into your robes, and change into a drag costume. So Whitney's like, yeah, girl, cancel your glam. And Lisa is damn near convulsing. She's just like, wait, what? Like, I already have my glam here for the whole weekend. Like, what's going on? No, I can't do that. I'm not doing that. So as they're walking back to their rooms to get ready for the competition, you have Lisa freaking out, and she's just like, one thing that I like to control is my look. I've already flown my glam out. I just can't do that. Like, I'm just not going to do this. It's torture. So now she calls up her husband. She's like, John, Whitney wants us to do this competition where we take off all of our makeup, and I don't want to do that. Like, babe, last night I had to wear a bathing suit and a sarong. Like, I've been a really good sport up until now, but this is torture. You know I hate a theme. I hate not being in control of how I look. So Lisa goes on to say that when it comes to her glam, she doesn't play. She has her makeup artist on retainer. She pays 60 grand a year for her makeup artist. And she even gets made up to go to the grocery store. Now, let me just say, I don't feel any sort of way with Lisa wanting to look how she wants to look. I get it. I empathize. I know that might sound kind of crazy, but I really do. I think that everybody deserves to feel great about themselves, to like how they look. And the fact that she's on national TV, honestly, I probably would have felt the same way. Like, no, I already flew my glam out. I want to make sure that I look good. Listen, there is nothing wrong with wanting to put your best foot forward when you step out the house. I get it, because I'm the same way. And I saw people on Twitter saying that Lisa was being extreme And the fact that she has a makeup artist on retainer is silly. And I don't think that it's over the top at all to have a glam squad on retainer, especially if you're a public figure of sorts. So I think that's smart. So I just said, go ahead, Lisa, I'm here for all of it. And then somebody was criticizing her for getting glam to go to the grocery store. I feel like show out everywhere you go. I don't really feel like you have to wait for a special occasion to look good. And isn't this the whole point of Housewives? To see these women freak out about some of the smallest issues? This is the reason why we watch the show. So I was surprised to see people making fun of Lisa for being this upset about having to cancel her glam. So anyhow, Lisa is really going through it. She calls in the producer. She calls in Meredith. She's like, look, I was a great sport last night. I wore a bikini and a sarong in public at an upscale restaurant, but now you want me to cancel my glam? That's going too far. I can't do it. I've already paid for Morgan's flight, and I already paid her the $2,500, so no, I'm not canceling my glam. I have glam in Saint-Tropez. I have glam in Monaco. I have glam in Paris. I have glam in St. Bart's, but I am not going to go without my glam today. So as Lisa's having her epic meltdown, Monica can hear her through the walls, and she's like, really, Lisa? The fact that she's doing this much over not being able to get her makeup done is ridiculous. So she goes on to say that Lisa's acting like Veruca, the character from Willy Wonka. Now, I said, Monica, it's clear that you have some jealousy and some resentment when it comes to Lisa's lifestyle, because why are you so pressed at the fact that she does not want to have to forego glam? Everybody has their things. Let Lisa have this and just mind your business. But the constant talk about, oh, she's acting like Veruca and she's just so spoiled and I just can't believe this. Like, Monica, you already knew what time it was when you got on this platform. So it's time for the drag competition to start. Whitney comes out first and her stage name is Little Girl. Then we see Monica come out. I think her name was Jersey Mariah. And then we see Angie K come out. Her name had me screaming. It was Anita Invite. I said the shade of it all. Then we see Heather come out. I thought that Heather's outfit was cute. Now I will say that Heather, Whitney, Monica, and Angie K, they definitely got into the competition because they all had the wigs on, they had the makeup, like they really embraced their inner drag queen, okay? Like they got into it. So now Meredith, Lisa, and Mary come out and they're pretty much dressed as themselves. Now, Meredith, you have those Versace platforms that I want, and they looked so good. I was like, yeah, this is my confirmation that I need to buy them. But those were everything. Whitney was irritated when they all came out. She's like, Meredith and Lisa should both be disqualified because the fact that they couldn't even get into character, it's just ridiculous. Now, we already knew that Mary would not be participating. Mary was like, girl, I'm not playing in this game, but I'm gonna come out and stunt with these 6-inch Louboutins. A quick side note, Mary's wigs have definitely gotten a lot better because I like the wig that she had on in this scene. I said, yeah, girl, keep that. So now we see Trixie crown Monica as the winner. And now they all get a bite to eat. And as they're sitting down, it's a really weird vibe. Mary's off to the side. She's in this really weird mood. Lisa goes over to Mary. She's like, come over and hang with us. And Mary's like, no. And now Lisa points out that Mary's always bothered about something and is getting a bit tired. And like I said earlier on, while Mary is funny, it does get a bit old when she's always in a bad mood because nobody wants to deal with that. If you can't put a smile on your face and have a good time, then why are you here? Because again, sis, you do have money. You don't need this Bravo check. So for you to subject yourself to be annoyed with these women, that's just really silly. So Whitney tells everybody to get their things because in 10 minutes, the van is going to come and take them to the bar. So we see at this point, Whitney, Angie K, and Monica all talking about how weird the vibe is. And Whitney's like, I just thought that Meredith would at least participate. The fact that she didn't even try, it's just so annoying. And then Monica jumps in and pretty much echoes the same statement about Lisa. And she's like, I think that it makes Lisa look so insecure. The fact that she's just so concerned with maintaining her look, she couldn't even step out and participate in the drag competition. So as they're talking about Lisa and Meredith, Lisa walks in and she's like, what are you guys talking about? So Whitney's like, we're talking about the sour pusses and the wet noodles of the group. So obviously Lisa has a feeling that she's a part of that whole wet noodle group. So she's like, if being a wet noodle is the well-dressed girl in head-to-toe Isabel Marant, then I'll gladly be the wet noodle. And one thing about Lisa, Lisa loves to name drop. She just can't help herself because we saw it when they got on the Sprinter van. And when Monica called her out about how she didn't dress up for the drag competition, and Lisa's like, look, I did participate. I'm wearing head-to-toe couture. I have my Valentino shoes on, my Fendi purse. And I'm like, baby, what does that have to do with anything? Meredith jumps in and says, look, everybody has the right to do what they want to do and dress up how they want to dress up. And I agree with it. Monica, it wasn't that deep. Just leave it alone. So Monica, it was at this moment where I put you in my Gina files because you tried it. It's one thing to be upset that Lisa didn't want to participate in the drag competition, but now you want to bring up your financial issues and how you're low-key resentful of the fact that Lisa is doing well. Because why are you trying to low-key make Lisa feel bad because she's rich and you're not? So Monica says, you know what, Lisa, I have to get this off of my chest. The whole ring thing is really pissing me off. You losing a $60,000 ring is hard. You always talking about what you have, your Porsche, your G-Wagon. It's just so tone deaf. So she goes on to say that Lisa's so out of touch with the average American and how she's in the 1%. Now I said, Monica, let's stop for just a minute because it seems like you're projecting and it's giving jealousy. Because, Miss Mamas, you knew what it was when you hopped your behind on this show. And that's why I don't like it when we see the ladies who don't really have it like that on these shows because they get jealous of the women who actually are rich. Monica, like I told you in the last recap, if you play your cards right, you too will also be rich in a few short seasons. But that's not fair for you to say, well, it's not fair because you have a G-Wagon and a Porsche and you have all this stuff and the average American doesn't have that. Okay. I was just like, girl, do you know what show you're on? Did you forget? Because I'm confused. You're around rich women who are going to talk about rich women things. And it's clear that you're insecure about your status at the bank. Shout out to Nene Leaks. But it's clear that you're insecure about that because the fact that you're going to say, well, you're just so out of touch and it's making me feel bad and I'm going through a divorce and I have 4 kids to raise on my own. Whoa, back it up. Why are you blaming Lisa for what you're going through? Does Lisa brag? Yes. Is she obnoxious? Yes. Is she tacky? Yes. Is she a name dropper? Yes. However, you don't have the right to check her about her being in the 1% and how her lifestyle makes you feel bad. It's sounding like you're jealous and you're insecure, Monica. So Lisa's pissed. She's like, I'm not gonna apologize for anything. I work my ass off and you don't know anything about me to judge me. I'm a good person. I give back. I'm a great friend. So how dare you? So now Lisa goes on to say that she feels really sorry for what Monica's going through. And Monica's like, no, you don't. You don't care at all. And now Monica calls Lisa a piece of shit in Portuguese. Now, again, Monica, That was so uncalled for. And I don't feel like you have a leg to stand on because you knew that you were coming into a group with rich women. And I feel like your insecurities are getting the best of you, and now you want to take your anger out on somebody else at the fact that you don't have what they have. And Monica, once I start putting you in my Gina file, there's no coming back out of that. Just so we're clear. So I'm going to give you one more chance. But girl, you're trying it. You're trying my patience. So Angie's trying to break up the argument between Monica and Lisa. And then you have Monica telling Angie to shut up. She's like, girl, you're so far up Lisa's ass, like, be quiet. So everybody on the bus is shocked by Monica's behavior. Even Whitney's like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this side of Monica. Does she treat all her friends like this? Now they pull up to the bar and everybody gets out except for Mary. And we see her ask the driver to take her to McDonald's. She's like, I want a fish fillet, a large fry, a 6-piece nugget. I'm hungry. And why did I get the biggest craving for McDonald's when she said that? And a quick side note. Can we stop pretending like we don't eat McDonald's once in a while? Because every time I go, the drive-thru is packed. So they're at the bar. Whitney's ordering them shots. Of course, Lisa and Monica are off to the side. They're going back and forth. And Lisa's like, Monica, can I tell you that you're conflating two different issues? So Monica says, no, I'm not. You're a very shallow person. And Lisa's like, now, girl, hold up. I'm not the only shallow one. You are too. You have a brand new Louis Vuitton bag that's $5,000. So Monica's like, yeah, that's true, but I'm not materialistic. And I said, Monica, yes, you are. You're materialistic, but you just don't have the money to buy all the materials that you want. Let's just be real. I am so tired of people saying that they're not materialistic, because I can guarantee you, if somebody wrote you a huge check, I can assure you, you would be right in that mall buying Fendi, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all right? I don't pay attention to what people say when they don't have the money. I pay attention to what they do when they actually get the money. Because I've seen quite a few people who said, oh no, I don't care about all that. I don't care about designer. And the minute they get some money, they're right at the mall. They're right at Neiman, Saks, please.
Bling, bling, bling. Bitches is mad.
Buying all the stuff that they said they would never buy if they had it. So again, Monica, miss me with it. Also, sis, the very fact that you ran to the store to buy the purse to keep up with these women, that says it right there. So it's just like, girl, just say that you're mad that you don't have that kind of money that they all do, and it's a struggle for you to buy the things that they have, and you're upset about it. But don't sit up here and try to act like, oh, I'm not materialistic, I'm not shallow. Yes, you are. So Lisa says, when you said that I can't relate to the average middle-class person, yes, I can. So Monica's like, no, you can't. The average middle-class person does not have $60,000 rings. So Lisa's like, yes, they do. I said, Lisa, you're going to get so much backlash for that at the reunion. I said, bless Lisa's heart. So now we jump over to Whitney, Meredith, and Heather talking. And Whitney's like, at the motel, I was really disappointed that Lisa didn't dress up in drag. She was more concerned about her look. And then Whitney goes on to confront Meredith, and she's like, well, Meredith, I wish that you participated. So Meredith says, look, Whitney, we are two different people. I don't have to follow you, okay? So now Meredith goes on to say that she's been dealing with a shooting headache for the past 2 days, and she was not going to put on a 30-inch wig to exacerbate it. Now I said, Meredith, girl, you know I love you. But all of a sudden now, you've been dealing with this awful headache. The way you were screaming and carrying on at dinner last night, I highly doubt that you had a headache. Also, sis, the way you've been drinking nonstop, and now to say that you have a headache. So Whitney was so over it. She was like, so first it's your friend's 3-year-old grandson. Now you have this splitting headache for 2 days. Like, what's next? The minute Whitney brought up the 3-year-old grandson, I knew it was over. Meredith gives us another Oscar-worthy soap opera performance. She's like, excuse me? How dare you? You're a disgusting human being. You're a monster. I said, not a monster. I love the fact that Meredith is fully engaging. She is truly giving us scenes. I love the dramatics of it all. It's just perfection. So Meredith starts screaming. She's like, the fact that you're going to use a 3-year-old who's about to suffer for the rest of his life and weaponize that against me, how dare you? So now she walks away from Whitney. Whitney's following behind her. And I just said, Whitney, just leave well enough alone. You've already caused a lot of issues on this trip by bringing Angie K in the first place, taking over the trip. Like, just stop. So at this point, Meredith is at the bar and she's just really pissed. She's trying to ignore Whitney. Of course, Whitney's right behind her. She's like, look, Meredith, all I'm saying is that you always seem to have an excuse about how you're going through something. And Meredith says, no, I'm not. That's not true. And I said, Meredith, it kind of is true because just a few minutes ago, you're talking about your excuse for not dressing up in drag because you had a splitting headache. So at this point, Meredith is over it. She's like, look, last night at dinner, I had a pit bull coming after me. And of course, she's talking about Angie K. So Angie K hears that she's being called a pit bull. So now she walks over to Meredith to confront her. She's like, did you just call me a pit bull? And the way I got my entire life, because Meredith paid Angie K dust. She did not even answer her. She was like, that's a very vile and disgusting human being behind me. I said, Angie, give it up. Hang it up flat screen, in the words of Nicki Minaj, because mama, Meredith does not see it for you. She does not like you. Just leave her alone, please. She refuses to give you any attention. And the fact that you are chasing behind her, trying to get a reaction out of her is pathetic. Personally, I just have too much pride and self-esteem to chase behind somebody who clearly does not like me. So that wouldn't be happening. I would be giving Meredith all the space that she wanted. So Angie K is still trying to get Meredith's attention. She's like, it's just not right. You're calling me a pit bull. Who does that? So she goes on to say, you know what, Meredith? You look like a trampoline with eyes. I was like, what? Not a trampoline. Like, and the way I was really trying to envision a trampoline with eyes, it's just so stupid. Meredith, if you make a shirt with a trampoline with eyes on it, please send me one. And I want 10% because I gave you the idea. So Meredith is like, you know what, girl? You're a hideous human being, and I'm not even talking about your looks. The way Meredith does not and will never see it for Angie, and Angie is hurt. So you have Whitney sitting there trying to chastise Meredith for what she said, and she's like, I don't think it's right how you're talking to a woman like that. Then she goes on to say that Meredith is being a mean girl, and she's gonna walk over and talk to the nice girls. Now, in this group, who's a nice girl? I'll wait, because it damn sure isn't you, Whitney. This whole group is catty and shady, so what are you saying? So as if that wasn't enough, we see Monica running her mouth about Angie K, and she's asking Heather if it's true about Angie being Lisa's little bitch. And because Heather can't stand Angie, she's like, yeah, that's right. So of course, Angie walks over to Monica. She's asking Monica what she's saying. And Monica tells her flat out. Angie's like, girl, how are you my friend, but you're gonna sit up there and talk about me like this? So as she's talking, she's getting a bit, handsy. The hands are in the face. So Monica's like, girl, get your hands out of my face. Get your nasty nails out of my face like Jen Shah. And now, of course, they start talking about Jen. And Angie's like, but girl, you were Jen Shah's assistant. And Monica claps back saying, how can you be an assistant if you were never paid? Now, like I told you guys very early on, Jen did not pay any of those people working for her. It was all a front. The only person who got paid was Stuart, and we see what happened to him. But Monica, let me just read you quickly, right? because you're obviously not that bright if you actually were doing favors and running errands for a woman who wasn't paying you, knowing good and damn well that your finances are in shambles and you have 4 daughters to care for. There's no way on God's green earth that I'd be sitting up there working for free. And Jen was probably up there yelling at you and cursing you out the way she did to everybody who worked for her. But I said I'd be too embarrassed to reveal to anybody that I was working for Jen Shaw for free. That's embarrassing. Don't even tell anybody that. And even Angie clocked you. She was like, girl, I know you got paid. Stop lying. I don't believe for 1 minute that you left all your kids at home to work for free, because that makes no sense. So Angie goes on to say that Monica probably feels ashamed of the fact that she used to work for Jen, and now she wants to erase that and pretend that she's somebody that she's not. And I could definitely see that being the case. You can tell that Monica probably feels embarrassed for the fact that she was ever associated with Jen. So now she wants to wipe the slate clean and do a little bit of revisionist history. But girl, own it. So now you have Monica trying to shade everybody. She's like, honestly, all you bitches were her assistant because you guys all did favors for Jen. Now, be that as it may, they only did favors for her, but they all have money. You actually were her assistants, getting paid in coupons, IOUs, or the occasional free lunch from Panera Bread. So I just said your reads aren't landing because none of them were working for her. You actually were. Now, Monica, I'm gonna need you to stop with this tough girl act when you were like, look, Angie, don't mess with me, dead ass. I was like, okay, girl, just stop, please. And one of y'all made a great observation about how Monica tends to use a black scent at certain times. And I picked up on it too. I just said, okay, girl, not too much. But they get back on the Sprinter van. And of course, Mary's like, did you guys have fun? Because I was sitting up here eating my McDonald's. And that's where the episode ends. Once again, this episode was giving what the other girls said they were supposed to have gave. I think these women have finally hit their stride. They're really feeling themselves. The drama is fresh and authentic. I'm loving it. Yeah, I'm fully invested. I am all in. If you're not watching SLC, please get into it, y'all, because this season is a 10 out of 10. But y'all, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.